Welcome to your journey toward fluent, confident English speaking. Today, you are not just starting a language lesson, you are starting a transformation that will train your brain, your ears, and your mouth to work together seamlessly. This is the power of the repeat after me method, a practical, action based, and highly effective system that blends repetition, listening, shadowing, and mindset to make English speaking natural, automatic, and confident. Many learners believe fluency is a talent, something people are born with. They look at native speakers, at fluent colleagues, at confident public speakers, and feel a sense of inadequacy. I'll never speak like that, they say. But this is a myth. Fluency is not a gift, it is a result of consistent, deliberate action combined with the right mindset. The repeat after me method is designed to make that action both effective and repeatable. Every sentence you repeat, every dialogue you shadow, every correction you make compounds into tangible improvement. Let's start with the basics. The essence of this method is listening first, then repeating immediately without translating. Most learners unconsciously translate from their native language, which slows their speech and creates unnatural pauses. To overcome this, you will practice listening to short, natural English sentences, then repeat them aloud, matching tone, rhythm, and speed. At first, it will feel awkward. Your mouth may stumble, your tongue may fumble over unfamiliar sounds. But this is exactly how your brain and mouth are trained to synchronize. Muscle memory is built the same way your body learns a new sport. Repetition after repetition, gradually improving until movement becomes automatic. Practical example, imagine the sentence, could you please tell me where the sentence, could you please tell me where the nearest coffee shop is? Listen carefully. Notice how could you is often shortened to sec you in casual speech. Listen to the slight stress on coffee shop and the rising intonation at the end. Repeat it immediately. Do not pause to translate. Match the rhythm and tone. Repeat multiple times. Record yourself. Listen to the recording. Adjust subtle pronunciation differences. Repeat again. Every repetition strengthens your ability to produce this sentence naturally in real conversation. Belief is the hidden engine behind this practice. Without belief, repetitions feel like corners. With belief, every repetition has meaning. You must cultivate what I call belief that presses, a mindset that keeps you practicing even when progress feels slow, even when mistakes are frequent, even when motivation fades. This belief is not blind optimism, it is grounded trust in your consistent action. Every time you repeat a sentence, you are reinforcing your neural pathways, training your mouth, and building your confidence. Belief ensures you do not quit when improvement is not immediately visible. Quote, daily practice is far more effective than long, infrequent sessions. 10 to 15 minutes of focused repetition every day outperforms hours of occasional practice because the brain learns best through repeated exposure. Think of each session as a mini workout for your speech muscles. Your tongue, lips, and jaw adapt. Your ears learn to recognize natural English sounds. Your brain begins to predict sentence patterns. Over time, you do not think about the mechanics, you just speak naturally. Now let's layer in shadowing. Shadowing means you repeat sentences in real time as they are spoken by native speakers. This is different from repeating after the audio has finished. Shadowing trains your brain to process English instantly, improves listening comprehension, and develops rhythm and flow. Start with simple sentences. Once comfortable, progress to dialogues from podcasts, TV shows, or casual conversations. Pay attention to contractions, intonation, and stress. Notice how natural speakers combine words. I am going to becomes I'm gonna, did you becomes be you. Repeating these naturally embeds real life patterns into your speech. Mistakes are not failures, they are feedback. You will mispronounce words, stumble over sentences, or sound unnatural at first. Each of these instances is an opportunity to correct and improve. Record, playback, adjust, and repeat. Over time, your mouth learns the right movements, your making the correct sound, and your brain predicts the patterns automatically. This iterative process is what turns mechanical repetition into fluent, confident speech. Let's make this practical for your daily routine. Start with a short session, 5 to 7 sentences. Listen, repeat immediately, record, adjust, and repeat 3 to 5 times. Once completed, review the first sentences again to reinforce memory. Add a few more complex sentences or longer dialogues. Gradually, you expand your ability to handle complex speech without hesitation. This layering ensures constant growth and prevents stagnation. Energy and focus are critical. Some days you may feel tired, distracted, or unmotivated. On those days, even 5 minutes of deliberate, focused practice is better than skipping entirely. Pressing belief carries you through these moments. Remember, consistency builds momentum, momentum builds fluency, fluency becomes automatic. Now, as you continue practicing, introduce emotional engagement. English is not just words, it is communication. When repeating sentences, imagine real life scenarios. Feel the conversation, react naturally, use tone and emphasis as you would in real dialogue. This emotional layer reinforces memory, improves retention, and builds confidence. Shadowing with emotion turns artificial repetition into natural communication. Recording yourself regularly is a non negotiable step. Listening to your own voice may feel awkward, but it is a powerful feedback tool. Notice pronunciation, errors, unnatural pauses, or flat intonation. Correct. Repeat and refine. Over weeks, you will hear the difference between early and recent recordings. These micro improvements compound silently, leading to fluency that feels effortless. Escalation is the next secret to mastering English through this method. Once basic sentences are confirmed, increase difficulty gradually, add longer sentences, compound sentences, slang, or real life dialogues. Increase speed slightly. Your brain adapts, your mouth becomes more agile, and your ear picks up subtleties in natural speech. This ensures continuous growth without plateaus. Belief continues to evolve. At first, it was simple pressing belief, I will practice. Now it becomes momentum belief, a natural drive where action occurs automatically. You wake up, you practice, you repeat, you improve, all without negotiating with yourself. This is the point where repetition becomes effortless, mistakes become invisible, training and your fluency emerges naturally. Even now, subtle mental traps exist: comfort, comparison, and impatience. Some days you may feel your progress is slow, others may notice peers speaking faster or more confidently. Do not let comparison weaken your belief. Focus on your progress, track it, and celebrate wins. Small improvements compound exponentially. The repeat after me method is designed to make progress visible through consistent, structured repetition. Finally, the first step in your long term mastery is complete. You have established foundation, built pressing belief, practice structured repetition, shadowed real life sentences, tracked progress, corrected mistakes, escalated difficulty, and infused emotional engagement. This is only the beginning. In the next note, we will uncover the critical mindset shift that accelerates every repetition, protects your belief, and ensures that your English speaking improves faster than ever before. Your fluency journey is not just about learning English, it is about transforming the way you think, speak, and respond naturally in every situation. And the real transformation begins when you integrate all these elements into daily life consistently, pushing past mental limits and allowing English to become an automatic part of your identity. Welcome back to the next stage of your English speaking journey. By now, you have laid a solid foundation through repeated practice, shadowing real life sentences, and developing pressing belief. You have started to feel the rhythm of English in your mouth, the flow of sentences in your mind, and the connection between listening and speaking. But here's the critical truth: to reach advanced fluency, you must go beyond repetition. You must combine consistent action, escalating challenge, and deep mental focus. This merged section of No 2 and No 3 is designed to help you do exactly that, turn practice into automatic fluency while building unstoppable belief. One of the most powerful lessons at this stage is understanding why consistency beats intensity. Many learners believe that cramming long hours into one day will accelerate fluency. The truth is, the brain does not process language that way. Short, focused daily sessions allow your neural pathways to strengthen naturally. 10 to 15 minutes of high quality repetition every day surpasses 3 hours of sporadic unfocused practice. Each session acts as a micro training for your brain, mouth, and ears. By repeating short sentences gradually, increasing difficulty, and shadowing native speakers, you are building a system of muscle memory for speech. Now, let's talk about the belief that presses. Early learners often rely on fleeting motivation, but motivation comes and goes. Pressing belief is a deeper force. It keeps you practicing even when results feel invisible. Every repetition matters, every shadowed sentence matters, and every correction matters. It is the belief that silently propels your fluency forward. Without this pressing belief, repetition becomes hollow. With it, repetition becomes a tool for transformation. Practical application begins with layered repetition, certain sentences. Repeat each sentence with 5 times, focusing on pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Or keep your voice, play back, notice subtle differences between your pronunciation and the original. Adjust, repeat, and refine. Then add slightly longer or more complex sentences. Each layer reinforces previous learning while challenging your brain to adapt to new patterns. Over time, this approach accelerates fluency naturally. At this stage, shadowing real life dialogues becomes essential. Real conversations are full of contractions, casual phrasing, and emotional nuance. Textbook sentences are grammatically correct but often lack the rhythm and flow of authentic English. No, shadowing teaches you to internalize natural patterns. Listen carefully to phrases like, hey, how's it going? Or I'll grab a coffee. Do you want one? Notice reductions, contractions, and emphasis. Repeat them naturally, record and review. Over time, your speech will sound less like memorized English and more like spontaneous conversation. Mistakes are no longer setbacks, they are feedback opportunities. Every time you stumble over a word, mispronounce a phrase, or hesitate in a sentence, you are highlighting an area that needs attention. Repetition makes correction safe. Practice is just repeat. Each correction reinforces proper speech patterns, gradually turning what was once defeated into automatic responses. Escalation is crucial for continued progress. If you remain at the same difficulty level, your brain adapts and growth slows. Gradually increase sentence complexity, speaking speed, and length. Move from I would like a cup of coffee to I'd like a cappuccino with extra foam, please. And could you recommend a dessert to go with it? Then add natural follow up questions. Which pastry is your specialty today? Each escalation challenges your brain to process English faster, your mouth to form sounds naturally, and your ears to recognize authentic patterns. A leaf evolves alongside escalation. Your early pressing belief transforms into momentum belief, a state where action becomes almost automatic, a state where action becomes almost automatic. You wake up, practice, repeat, correct, and progress without hesitation. Mistakes are expected, adjustments are natural, and fluency emerges effortlessly. At this stage, repetition and belief are inseparable. They're inseparable. They reinforce one another, creating exponential improvement. A subtle trap at this stage is mindless repetition. Some learners go through the motions, pressing play, repeating sentences, and marking progress, but their attention wanders. Mindless repetition has little effect. The solution is focused repetition. Pay attention to every syllable, intonation, and stress pattern. Match tone, rhythm, and emotion. Speak with intention. Active engagement multiplies results exponential. Active engagement multiplies results exponential. Fire enough energy management remains critical on high energy days. Extend practice sessions and add more challenging sentences. On low energy days, maintain short, highly focused repetition. Even 10 minutes of deliberate practice sustains momentum. Consistency over time is what drives transformation, not occasional long sessions. Recording yourself regularly accelerates improvement. Listening to your voice highlights subtle pronunciation errors, unnatural pauses, or flat intonation. Correct them immediately, repeat and refine. Over week, you will notice your recording sounding significantly more fluent and natural than early sessions. These micro improvements compound silently, forming the foundation of automatic fluency. Emotional engagement amplifies retention. It's each sentence you repeat should evoke real life context. Imagine ordering coffee, asking for directions, participating in a meeting, or chatting with a friend. Feel the scenario, respond naturally, and use tone and emphasis. Emotional involvement activates multiple brain pathways, making speech patterns stick faster. Shadowing with emotion turns mechanical repetition into authentic communication. Another layer is thinking in English at first. Learners translate from their native language. Then they respond with a slight delay. At mastery, your brain begins to think in English directly. Words, sentences, and responses emerge without hesitation or translation. This is the ultimate goal. English becomes an automatic extension of your thoughts, not a skill you consciously force into use. A hidden mental trap is automatic limiting beliefs. These subtle thoughts whisper doubts. I'll never sound natural. I'm too slow, or others are better than me. If unnoticed, they slow progress and reduce practice quality. The key is to replace them with pressing belief. Every repetition strengthens my fluency. Every mistake is feedback. I am improving every day. This mindset ensures every session is effective regardless of external factors or self doubt. Integration of these techniques creates holistic mastery, layered repetition, shadowing, escalation, emotional engagement, error correction, belief, and thinking in English merge into a seamless system. Fluency is no longer a goal, it becomes the natural outcome of daily practice. Your mouth, ears, and brain operate as one. Sentences flow effortlessly, conversations become comfortable, spontaneous, and confident. But even at this stage, subtle mental traps remain. Power, comfort seeking, impatience, and distraction can erode progress silently. Momentum belief carries you through these moments. Daily practice, even in small doses, protects progress and accelerates fluency. Recording, escalation, and emotional engagement ensure that every repetition compounds exponentially. And here is the cliffhanger. Despite all these techniques, there exists one hidden brain pattern that limits most learners' fluency silently. It is subtle, invisible, and affects both repetition and real life speaking. In the next notes, we will uncover this hidden factor and reveal how to overcome and unlocking the final stage of fearless, confident English speaking, making every repetition more effective than you ever imagined. Welcome to the next stage of your English speaking journey. By this point, you have mastered the foundations: short sentence repetition, shadowing, emotional engagement, error correction, and pressing belief. You have also escalated difficulty, integrated complex sentences, and begun thinking in English naturally. But now we are moving into the advanced stage where fluency shaped not just by repetition but by deliberate escalation, mindset mastery, and the ability to respond in real life context with automatic confidence. The first key concept at this stage is intentional escalation. Many learners plateau because they stay comfortable repeating the same sentences over and over without challenge. To break through, you must gradually increase difficulty in every session, add longer sentences, compound structures, fast paced dialogues, and real life scenarios. For instance, move from I'd like a cup of coffee, please, to I'd like a cappuccino with extra foam, please. And could you recommend a pastry that pays well with it? Then it dull follow up questions, conversational fillers, and natural pauses. Escalation forces your brain and mouth to adapt continuously, preventing stagnation and ensuring every repetition is productive. Believe that process evolves at this stage into momentum belief. Early in your journey, pressing belief kept you practicing even when motivation faltered. Momentum belief is deeper. It allows you to practice consistently, escalate difficulty naturally, and integrate corrections without thinking twice. It turns repetition into a habit so ingrained that even low energy days become productive. You no longer have to negotiate with yourself. Your brain is primed to act. This is the mental edge that separates fluent speakers from learners stuck in a plateau. Practical implementation involves layered shadowing at each session by revisiting previous sentences to reinforce memory. Then introduce escalated sentences focusing on rhythm, intonation, and emotional tone. Record yourself multiple times, lay back, correct, and repeat it. Next, move to real life dialogues from podcasts, movies, or conversations. Shadow in real time, matching the speed and tone of native speakers, and pay attention to contractions, stress patterns, and rising such falling intonation. This builds automatic fluency that feels natural in conversation. Mistakes are critical at this stage, not as attacks but as learning signals. Every mispronounced word or hesi patch and highlights where attention is needed. The advanced learner does not fear mistakes, they use them strategically, intentionally exaggerate errors, then correct them, challenge your brain to process, adjust, and internalize correct patterns. Over time, this makes fluent speech automatic. Energy and focus remain central on high energy days. Tackle complex sentences or longer dialogues. On low energy days, maintain focus, short repetitions. Momentum belief ensures that no practice session is wasted. Even if intensity fluctuates, this consistency compounds silently, building fluency faster than any irregular intensive effort. Acme solidly building fluency faster than any irregular intensive effort. Emotional engagement continues to amplify results. The stage, every sentence should be linked to a scenario in your life. Imagine a conversation in a cafe at work or with friends. React naturally, use tone, stress, and pauses as you would in real life. This multisensory practice activates multiple neural pathways, making retention and recall nearly effortless. Recording remains a non negotiable tool. Playback allows you to detect subtle errors that your brain may overlook in real time. Repetition focus on intonation, natural pauses, contractions, and speech rhythm. Correct, repeat, and refine. Over weeks, recordings will demonstrate noticeable improvement, reinforcing both skill and belief. Escalation is not only about sentence length or complexity, it is also about speed and spontaneity. And then practice repeating sentences faster, then combine multiple sentences into a single flowing dialogue verb, introduce natural filler words, slang, and casual phrasing. Gradually, your brain adapts to spontaneous English processing, making real life conversations easier and more natural. Even advanced learners can unconsciously limit themselves by thinking, I'll never sound like a native themselves by thinking I'll never sound like a native or I'm slower than others. Left unchecked, this belief slows repetition quality and prevents full integration of fluency skills. The solution consciously reinforce momentum belief, celebrate incremental progress, and focus on self improvement rather than comparison. This mental discipline ensures every session produces maximum benefit. Layered repetition, shadowing, escalation, emotional engagement, error correction, momentum belief, and progress tracking merge into a seamless practice system. Fluency begins to feel automatic. Conversations flow naturally. Mistakes are handled instantly and corrected without breaking rhythm. Your brain, mouth, and ears operate as a unified system. This is the essence of advanced repeat after me mastery. Another powerful tip is micro challenges. Occasions will faster speed, exaggerate pronunciation errors, or imitate challenging dialogues. Each micro challenge forces your brain to adapt, increasing flexibility and natural fluency. This prevents stagnation and sharpens both comprehension and expression. Consistency remains king. Even small sessions, when done deliberately, maintain momentum. 10 focused minutes of daily practice can produce more results than an hour of distracted repetition. Advanced learners understand that quality over quantity is what accelerates fluency. Tracking progress magnifies improvement. Regular recordings allow you to notice subtly these small wins. Regular recordings allow you to notice, celebrate these small wins, recognition, intonation, speed, and confidence. Celebrate these small wins. Feedback is the fuel that transforms repetition into mastery. And here is the cliffhanger. Despite all the techniques we have covered, escalation, shadowing, momentum, belief, emotional engagement, error correction, and tracking, there remains one final invisible mental factor that separates highly fluent speakers from everyone else. It is subtle, almost imperceptible, and yet it governs the efficiency of every repetition and real life conversation. In the next and final note, we will uncover this ultimate layer and reveal how to unlock effortless ultimate English speaking faster than you ever imagined. Congratulations, you have reached the final stage of your English speaking journey. By now, you have built a strong foundation, established pressing belief, practiced structured repetition, shadowed real life sentences, corrected errors, escalated difficulty, engaged emotionally, and tracked progress. You have even learned to think in English directly without translating from your native language. But the journey is not complete until you integrate everything into one seamless, unstoppable system that makes English speaking automatic, confident, and natural. The ultimate layer, the one that separates highly fluent speakers from learners who plateaus, is the integration of automaticity, belief, and action. Early in your journey, repetition taught your mouth to form words and your brain to predict sentence patterns. Belief kept you consistent, shadowing taught rhythm, tone, and flow. Now, mastery occurs when these elements merge into a single cohesive system. Your brain, mouth, and ears operate as one, sentences flow effortlessly. Mistakes are handled instinctively, conversations happen naturally. This is the hallmark of advanced fluency. At this stage, your momentum belief has evolved into a powerful internal driver. Action occurs without hesitation. You no longer have to negotiate with yourself about whether to practice or not. Even low energy days become productive. This belief allows you to escalate difficult without resistance, integrate complex sentences into real life context, and respond natural. In spontaneous conversations, momentum belief is the engine, and your structured practice is the fuel. Together, they create unstoppable progress. Practical application at this final stage involves real life integration. And Paiki ki Bitara ki leather dresses host begin each session by revisiting previous sentences, ensuring consistencies, faster speaking speed, more complex dialogues, and natural idioms or slang. Shadow real life conversations from podcasts, movies, or interviews. Pay attention to contraction, stress, intonation, and natural rhythm. Speak out loud as if you are participation in the conversation. This combination of repetition and real life application ensures that fluency is not just a skill, it becomes a natural part of your identity. Mistakes at this stage are no longer feared, they are opportunities for instant adjustment. Mispronounced words, awkward phrasing, or hesitation signals exactly where attention is needed. Correct immediately, repeat, and internalize. This iterative process converts errors into powerful learning tools. Over time, your mouth learns movements, your ears pick up patterns, and your brain predicts natural speech seamlessly. A subtle yet critical factor at this stage is thinking in English under pressure. Real life conversations often happen spontaneously, requiring instant responses. Training your brain to think in English directly rather than translating eliminates hesitation and produces natural confident speech. Combine this with emotional engagement. Imagine real scenarios that respond naturally and use tone and stress appropriately. Emotional connection strengthens retention and accelerates fluency. Escalation remains essential. Push boundaries, faster speaking, combining multiple sentences using advanced vocabulary and including slang or idiomatic expressions. Introduce conversational fillers like, actually, or I mean, to sound more natural. Gradual escalation prevents stagnation, strengthens brain adaptability, and builds flexibility in spontaneous speech. Energy management is still important on high energy days. Challenge yourself with longer sessions and complex dialogues. On low energy days, maintain short, deliberate practice. Even 10 focused minutes of repetition produces compounding results over time. Momentum belief ensures consistency, preventing gaps that slow progress. Recording and playback are indispensable. Listening to your voice allows detection of subtle errors in pronunciation, intonation, rhythm, and natural phrasing. Correct, repeat, and refine. This habit produces measurable progress, reinforces confidence, and strengthens automaticity. Comparing recordings over weeks shows dramatic improvement, demonstrating how incremental practice leads to fluent natural speech. Micro challenges further enhance advanced practice, occasionally exaggerate pronunciation, increase speed, or repeat complex dialogues rapidly. These control challenges force your brain and mouth to adapt beyond the comfort, sharpening accuracy and fluency. Even brief micro challenges accelerate learning exponentially. Integration of all techniques is the final step. Layered repetition, shadowing, escalation, narrow engagement, momentum belief, micro challenges, and progress tracking. When combined seamlessly, these techniques create automatic fluency seamlessly. These techniques create automatic fluency, conversations flow effortlessly, confidence becomes natural, and mistakes are handled instinctively. Your brain no longer pauses to translate or analyze, it responds automatically. Tracking progress reinforces belief. Regular recordings allow self assessment, reflection, and recognition of improvement. Celebrate every gain, recognize subtle improvements in pronunciation, rhythm, speed, and confidence. Our afflection transforms repetition into mastery and strengthens your momentum belief. Now, let's address the final hidden mental factor, the subtle daily habit that multiplies fluency exponentially. Most learners overlook it, but it governs how effectively your brain internalizes repetition. This habit combines immediate review, self feedback, emotional engagement, and escalation into a single daily ritual. When applied consistently, it turns weeks of practice into days of effortless fluency. Every repetition becomes smarter, every correction more permanent, and every shadowing session more effective. Here is how to implement it practically. Begin each session by reviewing previous recordings to reinforce memory. Shadow new sentences immediately. After listening, focus on tone, rhythm, and emotion. Record and playback every attempt, making small adjustments instantly. Smaller adjustments is integrate real life scenarios to connect emission with language. Gradually escalate difficulty, speed, complexity, and natural phrasing. Gradually escalate difficulty, speed, complexity, and natural phrasing. End sessions with micro challenges, pushing speed, phrasing, and spontaneity. When repeated daily, this habit ensures fluency becomes automatic, effortless, and confident, transforming English from a learned skill into a natural mode of expression. The final step is mindset. Believe in your transformation. Trust the system, trust your momentum, believe, speak, make mistakes, correct, repeat. Over weeks and months, your brain rewires itself, your mouth moves naturally, your ears understand intuitively. Confidence emerges. You are no longer practicing, you are communicating fluently and naturally in real life. And here is the ultimate takeaway: the repeat after me method is not just repetition, it is a complete transformation system. Belief that presses and momentum, belief keeps you consistent and unstoppable. Structure, repetition, and shadowing trains brain, mouth, and ear simultaneous. Emotional engagement and real life integration makes speech natural and memorable. Escalation and micro challenges prevents stagnation and accelerates growth. Error feedback and recording review turns mistakes into tools. Progress tracking reinforces achievement and motivates continued improvement. By integrating all these elements, English speaking becomes not just a skill you practice, but a natural part of your identity. Conversations flow effortlessly, conferences flow effortlessly, conferences achievement and motivates IH. Mistakes are handled instinctively, fluency becomes automatic. Congratulations. You have reached the pinnacle of the repeat after me method. But remember, fluency is a journey, not a destination. But remember, fluency is a journey, not a destination. Momentum, belief, deliberate practice, and consistent engagement ensure that English becomes an unstoppable skill, growing with you every day. Keep practicing, keep escalating, keep integrating, and soon you will not just speak English, you will think, feel, and communicate in English, naturally transforming every interaction into a confident, fluent conversation. This is your ultimate mastery. And from this point onward, every repetition, every shadowing session, and every conversation becomes not just practice, but proof of your unstoppable fluency.